All right, I just went on. Well, hi, Gus. How you doing? Hello, Jean Ricard. That's funny. Our UK trip, we have an American and a Dane. Well, hello, Brian. Joyce will be with us in a few minutes. So, yeah, not running trains today. Well, I appreciate that, Jean Ricard. We're just hoping this is going to go smoother than we're expecting right now. Uh, just found out in the last couple of days that the UK rail system is planning strikes while we're over there, and um, we're having trouble paying our travel agent because they don't have a direct payment system set up, and they wanted to do it PayPal friends and family, but you can't do PayPal friends and family across countries. And if it crosses international borders, it has to be done as a transaction. I don't know why PayPal has it set up that way, or at least US PayPal. Yes, we actually are already booked, Finnerton. We're already booked, or at least according to our travel agent, we're set. They're expecting us. It's going to be hot today and tomorrow, and then storms on the day we leave. That's going to be fun. But I figure I'd wait here for a few more people because, yeah, we've been booking a lot of things in advance and setting our tickets up. Sounds like Joyce is getting her ice, which means she'll be down presently. I should make room for it is a mess down here. You never see that. You only see from here up, but it is a mess down here. I've got so much crap piled up here. And a lot of it I have to go through because some of it's my camera stuff that I will be taking to the UK. Oh, there's that dude. Ah. There she is. So of course, some people we've got 9 people watching.
Okay.
Of which one is from the UK. I mean, at least that have acknowledged their existence here.
Yeah, target audience. Huh?
Okay, this trip is going to be our most adventurous trip ever because first of all, we've never been to the UK and we are not as familiar with the UK. I mean, geographically, we know it, or, you know,
You do.
I know where things are in the UK, and I know a rough history of the UK but it never had the depth of interest that Germany always had for me. But we've always wanted to do something different. Yeah, unfortunately, we missed a lot. We had, well, hi, St. Blazy, how are you? But anyhow, what we'll do is kind of try to go over the map and the dates, and then if anybody has been around those areas, maybe some suggestions. Do you, Miss Secretary? Oh, you're not ready to take notes? I don't know. Are they down here still?
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got your pads.
Got
I don't
everybody
know about...
interested as I'm diving down.
What's that?
Never mind.
Okay, Daisy.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck with finding a pen. I took most of them. I have a pencil.
Okay.
In fact, I have 2 pencils, just in case.
One of them breaks.
There's that.
What a deal.
There are some pens.
There's a pen here.
Yeah, if it works.
Let's find out. All right, pay attention to the people.
Yes, dear. I'll pay attention to the people.
Aw.
I'm sorry there, Roger. That's not fun.
No, that's not cool.
Obviously, the world situation, and I'm not even talking the war in the Ukraine, is making international travel. We didn't start traveling until I was near 40. I was 39, my first trip, 38, 39, my first trip to Germany with my students. But we've become very astute travelers. We know how to travel. And, but, for example, we learned very quickly, traveling on our own here, that it's cheaper for us to travel out of Canada. So we bought airfare to a trip to Germany in 2020. We were supposed to go to Germany in 2020, and we bought airfare, and then our trip got canceled because of the showstopper, as we're calling it. And then they would not give us a refund. They said, well, hang on to it. If you demand that we give you a refund, we're going to keep 30% of the money. But if you let us keep it, you'll get 100% value. And I think that's bullcrap. They canceled the flight, right, but they still keep a fee. And that's BS, but that's
high fee, but...
that's BS, but they've got you by the balls, so to speak. So anyhow, we rebooked for Germany in 2021. Borders still weren't open, so that got canceled. And so finally, we had been planning on going to the UK in 2021, and we pushed everything back a year and said, all right, UK in 2022. And so when 2021 in Germany fell through, it was a long, hard debate, but we decided, let's just do the UK before my retirement pay kicks in. We wanted to do that at least once and make sure we could afford it. And so we're doing the UK. But, of course, the showstopper makes going over the border into Canada trickier. You now have to have proof of vaccination, which we do, but they have an online app that you have to do 72 hours before you arrive. And you have to tell them exactly what time you're going to reach the border. And it's like, we don't know. You know, traffic is going to dictate a lot. Traffic will dictate a lot. We could get there half an hour earlier, half an hour later, but they want you to say, when are you coming to the border? And so we've got, we also, we have an issue where our person who was supposed to drive us into Canada came down with the showstoppers, so we, at the moment, don't have a specific ride. We've got 3 options that we don't want to use either. So we're hoping to see what's going to find out. But this Canada app, you fill out so much in advance, but then 3 days before your arrival, it's like 9 pages of information you have to go through, and they don't tell you what it is. So it's going to be all these questions about when was the last time you knew somebody exposed, blah, blah, blah. It's all this insanity. And that makes nerve-wracking because we don't know until 3 o'clock today or 2 o'clock today when we can do it. So once we get into Canada, the UK is easy enough, but then coming back into Canada, they have some restrictions. Leslie. Hey, Leslie, how are you? And then we are having issues with our bookings through our travel agent because we're having trouble paying. He booked everything, but he doesn't have a direct way of paying. You know, and that suddenly reared its ugly head this week because he thought we could just pay through PayPal, through friends and family, and you can't. So I don't know where that's going to go. We may be doing last-second change of bookings here. Actually, Leslie, it's 22nd. That's what one of the things we're going to do here. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. So anyhow, let's look at what we're doing in the UK. I don't know. Does the map really matter? Here is an outline of our trip. I'll put it over us so you don't see our beautiful selves. But we are starting in London, going over to Cardiff. From Cardiff, we're going north to Bangor. From Bangor to Liverpool. From Liverpool up to Edinburgh. From Edinburgh down to York. And then from York back to London. Now, except for London, we are spending 4 nights in each of these places. So yes, we're missing the middle. We're missing the middle. We're missing the Highlands of Scotland. We're missing the Southwest. You know, the Isle of Wight. We're missing the East. We're missing Umbria and East Anglia and all those areas. But it just, unfortunately, it was what we could do. It hit some of the places we're interested in. And because there were certain things I specifically wanted to see. And Liverpool and the castles up in northern Wales, Conwy and Carnarvon Castle and a couple others up there were things I specifically wanted to see. So these were, and York is near a lot of famous historical places I wanted to see. And then just flying into London and flying out of London. Okay, so anyhow, yes, so we'll talk about those in order as we go. So rather than try to cover everything, hey, while you're here, do this, while you're here, do that. So I'm going to pull up, here is our basic itinerary. And Joyce and I type in things we want to do. For example, you can see London. We're in London Thursday, June 2nd, Friday, June 3rd, Saturday, June 4th, and Sunday, June 5th. Now, I will say, everything here is, tickets are already bought and booked. Train tickets, event tickets, these dates cannot be changed in most cases. But we are arriving in London on June 2nd. And we're arriving early. We're going to check into where we're staying, and then we're just going to immediately hit the road. And one of the things we're going to do right away is just, we've booked tickets for those hop-on, hop-off bus tours. And we're just going to go around all of London and see what we want to see. And then Friday, we specifically are going to go to the Tower of London in the morning. And then we have a Jack the Ripper tour in the PM because we want to do that. And then Saturday, our last day in London, is sort of a whatever we can do day. That's sort of our free day. Yeah, that is an issue we're looking at. We currently have trains booked, but yes, there is a potential train strike. So we're just going to have to play it by ear. I do not want to rent a car because A, I don't drive stick shift and I've never driven on the opposite side of the road. Friends tell me it's easy to get used to, but we're not looking forward to trying to drive if we have to drive. But anyhow, Saturday the 4th in London, because I don't know who here is London area. I'm a Beatles maniac, so I'm going to do all kinds of Beatles stuff. So we're definitely going to go up to Abbey Road, and there's a Beatles museum near there. We might go to Madame Tussauds. We might take in Windsor Castle if that strikes us. But that's sort of, we always leave a day where we leave our plans vague. Just maybe. But, you know, we are not train enthusiasts where everything is going to be about trains. Okay, we are not. I do model trains. I'm about the German rail system. We are going to ride trains in the UK, but we're not. You know, we don't need to see every. Oh, you got to go here and ride this train. You got to go here and ride this train. You got to do this. We are not on a train touring trip. We are on a tour of the UK, and we are going to ride trains to get from point A to point B. And then if something comes up where, hey, this could be a cool little venture, we'll do that. I know you have automatics, but from what I understand, most of them are stick shift over there. Right, if there is a strike, it's going to be problematic for everybody. Hey, Andrew, how are you? So that is our 3 days in London. So I don't know if anybody's in London, but those are the dates there. Okay, we then go from London to Cardiff, and at least right now, it is by train. I think we are taking a transport from Wales, or is it a Great Western train? But yeah, as you can see, we arrive at Cardiff Central at 12:35, and Joyce and I we take the first day we arrive. Oh, I know they have rental automatics. It's just we've been told it's mostly stick shift, so that it might be hard to find an automatic. But again, we're a little nervous about trying to drive the UK highway system. If we can go by train, if we have to hire a car, we will. But then the UK system better give us our train money back. So yeah, it's clearly a 2.5 hour train ride, but we're going to go to Cardiff. Now our dates in Cardiff have been the most affected by events. Our dates in London have been the most affected because, let me move this out of the way, we found a river gorge walking, kayaking thing, and we scheduled that in. We're going to go kayaking, we're going to go river gorge walking, and they only do Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays. They didn't say that on their front page. It's only after you start booking.
Right.
Be nice to say.
Very sad.
They're Monday through Thursday. They do corporate programs only. They don't do tourists. They do corporate stuff. Corporate events. So all of a sudden our time in Cardiff is going to be checking out the town of Cardiff. We're going to go up to Gloucester and visit Gloucester for a day. But now our time in Cardiff, we're trying to figure out what else to fill in. So if anybody's in that area, I mean, we could go over to Bristol and check out Bristol. Again, depending. All right, take care. Take care, Robert. So Cardiff is the one where we have suddenly more free time than we expected. And, you know, we're looking at what Cardiff suggests to do. You know, hey, things to see and do in Cardiff. But we're like, well, that would take a couple hours here. That would take a couple hours. But we got a couple of days. So, you know, depending on, again, rail strike and other issues. Cornwall is only open on Tuesdays, 9 to 12. I know some German towns like that. So we are definitely trying to fill the time in Cardiff. Now, yes. So we definitely want to see Gloucester Cathedral and the town of Gloucester and some things. And we just may go do a lot of nature hiking. We may just follow our own, rent a bike, go hiking or bike riding up into the region north, because there's a lot of beautiful areas. Go look at this gorge that these guys were talking about. Follow that river and see where it is. But that's the one where we have suddenly the most downtime, which is a little odd early in a trip. We usually do towns where there's more downtime later in the trip when we know we're going to be tired. The Cotswold, you'll have to tell us what that is and where that is, but again, in the Cardiff area. Okay, so now, the area that has maybe the most things to do, and I was hoping we might see him here, but maybe I'll post him later. From Cardiff, you could see we're going to Bangor. And boy, aren't there a million jokes you can make about that. But we are going to Bangor. Now it's a 4-hour train ride, or over 4-hour train ride right now. And that's if the trains are running. Again, our lives go into chaos if the train system gets canceled. But we are going to do the town of Bangor, and we want to do Carnarvon Castle, Conwy Castle, as well as tour the city of Bangor. Plus, I want to go over across into that peninsula island that's just across from Bangor. I forget what it's called. It's not Anglesey, but maybe it's Anglesey. I forget which. And so, but also we are planning on visiting Alan at Dragon Junction. And so we've got to contact him. He told us to contact him, but I'd have to go to his webpage. I think I'd have to go through my messaging from months ago, because he called me once back in December, and I can contact him that way. But anyhow, it actually would have been easier to visit Alan from Liverpool, but our Liverpool schedule is heavily busy. But with going to visit Alan at Dragon Junction, it's about an hour and a half train ride to Buxley, and then his city. Indeed. That's Joyce sneezing, by the way, if you wanted to know what that sound is. Okay, it is Anglesey, so that's what we want to do. But that could be an all-day event, so we just wanted to leave a day for that. So Saturday, June 11th is what we kind of set aside to visit Alan at Alan Junction. I don't know if they have, like, castles are closed on Sunday, if we have to flip those two, but Conwy seemed to be open every day of the week, according to what we looked at. And Joyce is just sneezing. It's her morning routine. No, they're not. They're not. That's why I've got them separated. So we got Carnarvon Castle on June 10th and Conwy on June 12th. So Saturday, June 11th is when we're setting aside to visit Alan at Dragon Junction. And yeah, I checked all the opening times to make sure they were open. So at least if their online information is correct, we should be good. I'll slide that over there for a minute. Yeah, Joyce just, it's allergies and morning. Yeah.
Need to explain.
So we checked, we check all the opening times. Like I said, we're used to this, because in Germany, certain museums are open on Sunday, certain museums are closed on Sunday, certain museums are closed on Monday. Everybody knows the museums are closed on Monday.
For sure.
We've had that experience in Germany. where early in our travel days we booked to go to a museum and then we showed up, but it's Sunday, or no, it's Monday, and everybody knows the museums are closed on Monday. And then in Gloucester, the place that we like to go into is closed on Fridays, and we started going on Fridays the last couple of years to Gloucester. We could if my fear of heights doesn't freak me out, but yes, we thought about walking across, because that's yeah, they talk about the little nature walk over there. So Bangor, we figure we're pretty booked. Because there are actually castles that are another 2-hour train ride, but yeah, the castles are each a good most of the day visit there. So we figure we're kind of one castle a day, and those are the two I really want to see. I mean, there's I forget what it begins with an H, which is about 2 to 3 hours down the road. I wanted to go see that one, but we're not going to see it. All these castles, especially the ones built by Edward the First. So then comes the yeah, don't look down. I can often challenge my fear of heights, especially if I'm not in a vehicle. I have walked over suspension bridges across gorges, and it's not fun for me, but I do it to get to the other side and to say I've done it.
It's not pretty.
I've stood on top of mountains, so I can usually fight it. It just depends. It's all or nothing twice a week now, the Welsh Highland. Okay. So, so our afternoons, because we try to do these things in the morning, and then if we can figure something else out, or if we have time, hey, let's run over and do that. But we're low key. We don't need a lot to entertain us. Joyce is really just nature. Show her hills and trees and rivers and lakes and seas, and she's good. I'm the guy that wants to see castles, wants to go into museums. And Joyce is more give me nature. So we pick places where you can do both. Well, that's how I am. As long as I feel contained, but I do get vertigo. Yeah. I can get vertigo. I can get dizzy, pretty. And it's not pretty. I will walk away, or run away. I whimper. Mm-hmm. So anyhow, that is Bangor. But if anybody knows, if you're in Bangor, you should go see this. This is something you got to see when you're in Bangor, or in that region where we could get to it relatively easy. Then pop us in. Okay, so Bangor was June 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. Now comes our biggest event. I don't know. This is one we're really looking at, is Liverpool, June 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th. There may be boat trips. Okay. Chepstow Castle. You checking those? You're marking those down?
Trying to.
Well, hello, 2x1 meter train model diorama at living room. How are you, Christopher? I'm guessing. But Liverpool, we're going to do a bus tour of Liverpool, but I am in Liverpool for Beatles and Anfield. I'm in Liverpool, and you can see that Tuesday, June 14th is our Beatles Day. We're going to do a Beatles tour. We're going to go to the Cavern Club. We're going to do all kinds of Beatles tours, maybe 2-3 different ones. That's just, we are excited for our visit to Liverpool. But one of these days I am going to be taking, Joyce and I will be taking a train down to Manchester, if Jim's still around, or he'll contact us. He said it should be good June 15th. or, you know, whatever day he can fit us in, because we can switch these days around. Just keep. All right, all you anti-Liverpool people, just behave yourselves. But we're going to go down to Manchester. That's where Jim from Hover Motion lives, and we're going to visit him. And I don't know how long we're going to stay. It may be all day, but this is one of the highlights. This is one of the people in Liverpool we are one of the people in the UK we are definitely excited to meet. And then we're going to go into Anfield and get a visit at Anfield. Now, somewhere in there, we're looking at meeting up with Lee and Jackie briefly. I don't know when. It's just however we can work that. You're just listening. Hi, Dwight. So Liverpool is going to be really special for me because I'm a huge Beatle maniac. I am a ultimate Beatle maniac. I'm a huge Beatle fan, so there had to be Beatle stuff in London that I was going to see, and Liverpool is all about the Beatles. You know, if there's a harbor boat tour, but, you know, I've done the Hamburg boat tour, and it could be one of those, harbor looks like a harbor.
Yeah.
Ride the ferry across the Mersey.
And sing it while you...
And sing it.
Yeah.
Ferry across the Mersey, 'cause this land's the land I love, and here I'll stay.
They're going to eek. It's normal. They're just trying to cough up food. It's how they speak.
Oh, all you ants. This southerner versus northerner stuff. We're neutral in this territorial. What did Roger Waters call it? In territorial pissings. Yeah, we're not into that. In America, we have our north-south bias, but when we travel, when we're in Germany, the northerners hate the Bavarians, and the Bavarians are like, ugh, the northerners are beneath us. And so we've caught. Apparently, every country has a north-south issue, but. There's a favorite video on YouTube I love. That's a fake BBC newscast. One of the comedy shows did it, where a guy from the north came down to London and said hello to people, and it created a citywide panic. Yeah, and for example, that's true. Like, for example, on the Rhine River, you could pay 100, 200, 300 bucks for these Rhine River cruises, but you can buy a $5 pass for the ferry bus that goes up and down the river to different towns, and it's the same view. So yeah, we do that. I take my students, we'd pay 100 bucks for my 15, 18 students, and we'd pay 100 bucks, and we'd just ride the ferry because it zigzags back and forth across the Rhine River, and it's a heck of a lot cheaper than paying the big ferry boat ride where you could pay $40, $50 a person. So yeah, so I can believe that the ferry ride would be cheaper. So, but Liverpool is south compared to you. There's that too, but it's still technically. Really, to me, it's more like central England when you really look at Liverpool. When you look at the map, it's the central west coast. We'll pull up the map here. I mean, you all know Liverpool, but as a foreigner, you know, you got a lot of England up here, way up by Newcastle, and then Liverpool down here in London. So Liverpool really is more central. I always think of Liverpool in the north for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why I think of Liverpool as the north, but maybe that's because Londoners treat everything north of London as the north. But we are happily naive. Gotcha. Yeah, sorry, dear.
Sure. Yeah, the biases and.
We are naive of most of the biases. As a Liverpool Reds fan, as a Liverpool FC fan, I'm fully aware of the hatred we have for Man City, but I am going to Manchester to see Jim Hover Motion.
Say that to the Scottish.
Don't say that to the Scottish. Well, yeah, the Scottish is a. We're aware of that.
Right.
we're aware of that issue as well. So that is our trip to Liverpool. Okay, and again, I don't know exactly, but we're going to go to Anfield. Maybe that's when we'll hook up with Lee and Jackie, or Lee, however it works out. And so next on the agenda, if you could see this, June 17th through June 20th, we're in Edinburgh. And we arrive at Edinburgh at 2 o'clock, and we will check into our place, and we will take a bus tour of Edinburgh that day. You know, they're usually 2 to 3 hours, they say. And give us an idea of what we want to go back. But then we want to visit Edinburgh Castle, and we want to go over and visit Chris Hale's Heritage Railway. Hopefully his leg will be a little better by then. But we want to stop in and visit him and Shirley. That's on the agenda. And then we're going to do Stirling Castle. And if we have time that day, we want to go over to Bannockburn. Although the reason we were going to Bannockburn has partly changed. And then our last day in Edinburgh, we have not found something exactly to do. We've left it kind of open. Either to do Bannockburn on a separate day, but that's all kind of down in the same area. Because there's not a lot of...
Works better for Chris on that day or whatever, yeah.
The day we travel from Liverpool to Edinburgh is Friday, June 17th. Leslie, June 17th. So we depart Liverpool at 10:45 a.m. and we arrive at Wigan, and then at Wigan we cross over.
Oh, the train.
Oh, you'll see us passing at Carlisle. Okay.
Anthony and Joyce are on that train.
So that's our train. You know, hopefully that'll be our train, but we fear. This was not the best news, but Edinburgh. There's a lot to do in Edinburgh, and we're just going to kind of leave suggestions open for our last day in Edinburgh, which is Monday, June 20th. Yeah, that's exactly what we're learning. So there are things... what's the best way to phrase this? I keep moving this right as Joyce is dealing with her allergies. For example, we went to Prague in the Czech Republic. And we only had a day in Prague. We had one day in Prague. And there's this great channel on YouTube called Honest Guides that they deal with all the things in Prague. And like, you know, everybody comes to Prague to see this. But if you really want to experience Prague, you should come here and do this. And, you know, and they're right in a lot of ways. But, you know, unfortunately... we, as a first-time visit there, we're going to hit the main tourist things, the castle, some of the historical sections. That's what we're going to be drawn to. I want to go to Stirling Bridge, even though the bridge isn't there and there's no real official battlefield monument. My friend Dean, who died last July, I'm sorry, he was he was Scottish, of Scottish ancestry, McConnell. And he was very big into his Scottish ancestry, joined the Scottish Highlander groups in Michigan where he lived. Very proud of his Scottish Highlander heritage. And he went to Scotland in the early 2000s, and he toured a lot of things. And we've shared this love of that period of British history. The wars between Edward I and the independence fighters of Scotland. Robert the Bruce, William Wallace, John Balliol, all those guys. Although I don't know what you call it. John maybe wasn't an independent fighter. But, you know, the whole border wars up there of the late 13th, early 14th century. We both love that history. That was one of our thousands of strong connections. We were both into that history. And he visited Bannockburn and had sort of a, well, he visited Stirling and the Wallace Monument and all that, and he was very touched by it, very emotional about it. And he, said, Anthony, because he always called me Anthony, you got to go visit there. You got to go see it too. If you go to the UK, go to Stirling and just stand there. And, because of our love of history, it doesn't matter if there's no markers there. Just stand there and feel the history. So we're going to do that. Stirling Bridge. Sorry for the English guys, but we're on the Scottish side in that battle. But then he went to Bannockburn, and he really had a big emotional moment. And I don't want to get into mysticism, but he just, the whole time he was staying in Edinburgh, he was having dreams, memory dreams. That when he went to the battlefield at Bannockburn, he looked to his wife and he said, I've been here. And his wife, Deb, says he just seemed to know where things were. Now, again, he studied the battle historically, but he had one of those pseudo-mystical moments. And he really believed he was reincarnated from a Scottish Highlander, or an ancestor of his had fought at Bannockburn. He had no real proof, but he had such a awakening there. And we were supposed to take some of his ashes to the battlefield of Bannockburn. He had himself cremated, and we were supposed to take some of his ashes. And we got permission from Bannockburn to do it. We got permission from everybody to do it. We just can't get his ashes there. Because she was supposed to bring them down to us, and she can't.
Well, she can't get rid of them. She can't get rid of them's wrong word. She can't give them up yet.
She wasn't ready to do it. Yeah.
She's not ready to do it.
She wasn't ready to do it. She went to the urn to get the ashes. Hey, Andrew. She went to the urn to get the ashes and put them in the... And she just wasn't ready to give part of him away.
No, not yet.
Not yet. So
okay.
she... Because we were debating, how are we going to get this over? We were going to notify the airline, like, hey, we're carrying these Fred's ashes. And we were told by the airlines that, actually, yes, you can do this. But we figured airline security is going to see a bottle of ashes or whatever and think we're smuggling marijuana or something. But we were going to get a permit to write it off. But when push came to shove, she just wasn't ready to give up the ashes yet. So we're not taking his ashes, but we're still going to go there and have a memory for him.
Right. Yeah. Well, sing kumbaya.
So he was, this. So yeah, we'll go to Bannockburn and remember him, because he emailed us at the time and said, Anthony, I wish you were here. I wish you were here. We could talk so much. Because Dean and I love talking military history. And any history in general. Politics, anything. But military history, war, especially medieval warfare, stuff like that. He was big into that. I was big into that. That was our thing. But, so while we're in Edinburgh, we're going to go to Bannockburn for him anyhow. All right, Brian, thanks for stopping in. So that's Edinburgh, and again, we have a day free just in case there's something other people suggest. Hey, if you're in Edinburgh, you got to do this, you got to go there. Okay, so let's talk about the last two bits of the trip. We are leaving on Tuesday, June 21st for York. And we're arriving at York at 11:30. Again, we'll check into where we're staying, and then we are going to do a tour of York. We are going to do a tour of York, and just get a basic feel for the town. And then Wednesday, June 22nd. This is where I'm really nervous, Leslie, because you said the 23rd, and I know on one live stream. Oh, he said he's good. Okay. Yeah, we're having a meet and greet at York. Now, Joyce and I will be there 11-ish. But according to Bear Lane Stephen Price, our travel agent, He said, so again, I'm talking Wednesday, June 22nd, 2022. According to Bearlane, I keep leaning back the wrong way so you can be in the camera. I'll throw this way for now. There we go. According to Bearlane Stephen Price, they set something up, and the note was near the Royal Train, something like that. They were going to have a room, but that room is got something going on, reconstruction or something going on, and the caterer is not available because they were going to cater sandwiches, which I thought was awesome, but I didn't know how many people would actually show up, so
Right.
I'm kind of happy. I mean, if anything,
We could go to a pub or something.
we can go to a pub
Stick around
or but we can eat at something there, and
Yeah.
I'll be feeling pretty good at that time because I'll be getting my big retirement payoff. But we are doing the National Rail Museum, and we are having a meet and greet there. And again, I don't know if 2 people show up, 3 people show up. If 5 people showed up, I would be blown out of my mind. It's the middle of the week. It's, people work. It's just, that's the day we're going. Yes, it probably would have been better if we did a weekend. But again, Joyce and I do a lot of calculus and trigonometry to plot out our trip. What day do we want to leave? What day are we coming back? And we always try to do trips in a bit of a circle so that we always come back where we started from, rather than up, down, back, forth, back, and across.
So anyway, we're meeting somewhere in the museum.
We're meeting, and we'll try to post more information about that long before. I mean, it's just over 3 weeks away, but we will definitely post more information about specifically where we will be hanging. But Joyce and I will probably be there 11ish because we'll get up in the morning, brush our teeth, and head there. So if people want to come, it's just that they were going to try to do sort of a luncheon gathering at like 1 o'clock, between 1 and 2 o'clock. But if people want to come and hang the day with us there, I'm just going to tell you, we'll be there at 11 o'clock. And if people that are going to meet us there can meet us there at 11, then we'll just kind of stand at the entrance, and then at 11 o'clock, we'll go in. No, Artie, I'm not expecting any royal treatment. That's why I would be shocked if, more than 3 or 4 people show up, because it's a major inconvenience. It is a middle of the work week. Now, maybe people are like, hey, I could take Wednesday off, but, it's...
Yeah,
we don't know. So I did not want to announce like it was some party because, the old MRYCG group used to have big meet and greets at Crewe and at York and NRM. But we are definitely, that's the one big train thing we're doing. That is the one big thing. We're in York. Now, I'm in York for some historical things, including I want to go out to the Battle of Towton field. And I know there's not much there. But this is one of the battles in English history I've studied heavily. I just want to go see it. I've read about it in dozens of books. I just want to see it. Why don't you scoot that way?
I wasn't worried about scooting that. You're
Well, that way then I can scoot.
backing into your...
Yeah, I know. I'm killing my one controller.
I know.
All right.
Thanks for popping in, St. Blazy.
Thanks for stopping in, Ryder. You take care, man. We got our fingers crossed for you. That's the best we can do. But again, we could always come over. Maybe we'll talk before then. Hopefully we'll talk before then. So the York NRM is the one big train thing. And I know you guys like, hey, you got to ride this train here and you got to take this heritage line there. But again, Joyce and I are so scared of sounding rude, but our trip is not a train spotting, train riding trip. It's tourist in the UK, and we will do a couple of train related things. Don't forget the spy cam. Well, Joyce is the photographer and I'm the videographer. Joyce takes the pictures, I film. That's always been the way it works. But we do plan on trying to do a couple of live feeds from hotel rooms, where we get the free Wi-Fi and at least say hello. Obviously, I wouldn't be running trains or anything. But I do plan, for example, like in York or Liverpool, where I have some time free. Like, what's the coolest model train shop or the biggest model train shop in Liverpool? What's the coolest or best model train shop in York? Now, obviously, in Liverpool, if it's, well, actually, I know Hatton's is outside of Liverpool. Now, we're staying at the Beatles Hard Day's Night Cafe, or Hotel and Cafe, the Hard Day's Night Hotel and Cafe near the whole Beatles Center. So I don't know if that makes a difference. But like if somebody wants to say, hey, in York, here is a really cool model train shop you got to see, I won't mind popping into a couple of model train shops, because you never know. They might even have a couple of American things just out of the blue, because I know some shops actually do sell some stock. What?
Never mind. Sorry, that just came out.
It just came out. It just slipped out.
Right.
No, that did not just. But yeah, I mean, just for the heck of it, because I do like to look at stuff. Will she make a video of her own? Well, since I'm the one videographer doing the recording, she might have to make a slideshow presentation.
We'll see.
We'll see. Joyce will get up at 3 a.m. and join Artie's live feed and co-host on it. No, Joyce isn't waking up at... Yeah, if I were to do that, if Artie's live stream on Saturdays, or Sunday for him, Saturday night for us in America, early Sunday morning for you in the UK, late Sunday afternoon, or not late afternoon, late morning, however it works. It's like 2 to 3 a.m. in the UK, and with our travel schedule, there's just no way we're going to be up at 2 or 3 a.m. because we like to run ourselves ragged. We run ourselves ragged, and then we die in the hotel bed. We've done that for years in Germany. Actually, we do bed and breakfast. We stay cheap. We are cheap travelers. We don't do luxury hotels or stuff like that. I don't like to camp. I don't like roughing it. But we basically usually just do bed and breakfast, a room and a shower, a room and a toilet and shower, private. We don't like to share the toilet and the shower. We want our own. So just a bed, and then because we're not going to be in the room, so we don't need a luxury couch and a fancy TV and all that, because A, I'll have a computer if we want to watch something, and B, we're not going to be in the room. So that's the big deal. Well, to be honest, Joyce and I probably think cheap too. We're inexpensive, but through Bear Lane Stephen Price, he's booked us hotels, and he got us some nice hotels so this would be a little fancier than we're used to traveling. We just got to figure out how we're going to pay him, because the payment factors are not working. His company doesn't have an easy direct payment system. So now at the last second, we're all scratching our heads and panicking. But we have plans B and C. So we are in York, and again, if I pull the schedule back up, York is a city that's got a lot of things. I actually also wanted to go to a couple of other battlefields.
Yeah, a museum booked for York.
Oh yeah, I forgot. What day did we do that? Yeah. Oh, Yarvik, the Jorvik Museum. I didn't write that down. That would be this day, the 23rd. I think we're doing Jorvik. Actually, I've got the tickets right here. I will open them up. London Zone Map, Vacation Map, Jack the Ripper, London to Cardiff Bangor tickets. Okay, maybe I don't. Maybe they're just on the web. They're in the email. Okay, I will check email real fast. You guys can stare at that for a second while I do this. Yeah, we printed these up. And June 24th, that's it, June 24th. Okay, so we're doing Jorvik on June 24th. That's right, so we changed this. So Towton is June 23rd. This is not my updated one. And Jorvik is June 24th. There we go. So that is now up to the date, my friends. That is up to the date. So that's what we're doing. So it's Taunton and then Jorvik, the Jorvik Museum. Exactly, Artie. That's how Joyce and I work. Monk Bar Models. And it's not far from the York Minster. I have heard about Monk Bar Models, so that is one worth checking, because we'll have some time in York. Because, what was the other battle I wanted to go? I forget the other battle I wanted to go see while we were in York. I wanted to go over to Stamford Bridge, where Harold beat the Danes. Sorry.
No bridge.
Jean Ricard. The bridge isn't there, and they have a couple of stones. I might do that if time allows, but again, there's not much there. It's one of the, the thing is, history, of course, remembers the winners. And Harold, King Harold of Wessex, or whatever he was called, was actually a brilliant military leader and would have made a great king of England. He's more famous for getting killed and losing to William the Conqueror. And of course, history tends to make William the Conqueror look like it was inevitable. But the fact is, Harold's troops were winning the Battle of Hastings until Harold took an arrow in the eye. And people don't realize is that Harold fought 3 battles over a 2-month period. He had to round up troops, march them here, march them there. He had to fight a small rebellion. Then he had to march up to Stamford Bridge and beat a Danish invading force, which had just destroyed the local army. And he beat them at Stamford Bridge. And then he disbanded that army thinking, okay, good, I guess William of Normandy is not coming over. And then he started marching south and heard William had landed in the south, and he had to get another army together, and they marched and they shocked the hell out of William of Normandy. Shocked the hell out. He's like, oh crap, he's here. And they took the high ground and they built the Anglo-Saxon shield wall. And the Normans were charging it, and it was a bloody battle. But the Normans were getting nowhere. And the Normans were the ones that had to win that day or they were screwed. And it was a long battle. But then Harold, according to the chroniclers, was rallying a part of his shield wall where the Normans were trying to break through. And a stray arrow caught him in the eye and killed him. And his troops kind of went, oh, we just lost the king, it's over. And then they collapsed and William the Conqueror won. And I don't like to get into what ifs in history. I really don't like what ifs because you don't know. Yeah, that's why people like to argue. Well, but to me, that's one of the battles I almost have a what if. What if he had held on? How different would, language would be different. World history, I want to be sitting here talking to you like this because it totally changed the full direction of both the language and the culture of the British Islands, that battle. So, but I do like Stamford Bridge because that's where he showed what a great general he was before history kind of rewrote, made him look like an incompetent king, but actually he was a very strong king and a very strong ruler and a very strong military leader. And the fact that he was able to put together a third army to deal with William the Conqueror and almost won that battle, I also originally wanted to go see the actual Battle of Hastings, not the one that your Royal Historical Society claims and charges money to. The real battle, that could not have been the battlefield. Geographically, it doesn't match what any of the contemporary writers wrote. There's no way, and sadly, the British Historical Society, Royal Historical Society, whatever, refuses to admit they're wrong. The actual battle clearly had to have been elsewhere. Oh, all right. That sounds awesome, Tim. Great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I will go through the schedule one last time here because I don't want to cut into Lee's thing, and we're almost wrapping up. But there were several battles, and like the Battle of Towton, to me, that's one of the. I mean, the Wars of the Roses, which didn't even get called the Wars of the Roses until years later. Just that series of civil wars, they are so tragic. And by the way, I'm not a Tudor fan. I'll just say that now. In the Lancastrian and York, I probably would have been a Yorkist. I'll just say that. Richard, Duke of Gloucester, King Richard III, I think Shakespeare really gave him more of a bad rap. Yes, we could talk about what happened to the two princes in the Tower, but let's face it. Previous kings did just the same, and later kings did just the same. The Tudors murdered a whole lot more and worse. The Battle of Towton is just such a tragic, epic battlefield, and to me, the battlefield of Towton should be to the people of the UK what the Battle of Gettysburg is to the United States, the greatest battle of your greatest civil war. Now, of course, we've only had one civil war so far. But Towton is sort of that Battle of Gettysburg, although, Bosworth Field also would have that. And again, history, I think, a lot of history has painted Richard III very, very darkly, and I don't think he was nearly. This guy was a great commanding general at the age of 16 in his brother's armies. He was loyal to his brother to the end, and his brother was an excessive drinker and womanizer, and whether he died of sexual disease or, the chroniclers often say, he probably alcohol poisoning or killed his liver because he was an immense partier. But I'm not above believing his wife, Elizabeth Woodville, killed him because she was all about getting her family into power. She was all about getting her brother appointed to this and her brother appointed to that and blah, blah, blah. But anyhow, the Battle of Towton is a major thing I want to see. I don't think I've studied any battle more than the Battle of Towton. So I do want to go stand at that battlefield. Hey, Stefan, how are you?
Hi, Stefan.
All right, Jean Ricard, take care. We'll see you later. Yeah, Damien, you're related to both sides.
Yeah.
I'm technically, I do have, I'm 3/4 German. 3 of my 4 grandparents were German, but the other side of me is from the northern parts of England. I do have 1/4 English, the Dodge side. Family was from Shropshire or somewhere in that region. I think that's north. Yeah, I don't know if that is actually a British rail map or not. It was just a map I found. I think it's got the highways on it, just in case you need that. But that is our Joyce and I like to draw an arrow map, and here's where we're going, and here's where we're staying. So anyhow, there's several things in York that I could do depending on additional time.
Yep.
Thank you, Artie. Thank you.
Hoping you guys to see if we're going to be near you, and if you could kind of find your way toward us, that would be really nice.
But that's the reason we're showing the dates.
Yeah.
Like, if you are somewhere near these regions and one of the dates fits in, let us know, like, hey, I'm near Cardiff. I can come and spend the evening in Cardiff, and we'll go out to dinner or a pub or something. Or maybe there's something you know in Cardiff, or maybe there's something you know in Bangor or the Bangor region. And we're not above saying if you want to drive us somewhere, as long as we know where we're going and that we are coming back and it doesn't lead into the deep woods.
We'll be posting our last location.
Yeah.
Send help.
Yeah, we'll be posted. Our bodies could be found here. We're looking forward to whomever we see. So definitely you, Leslie. And we know we've got a few people that said they might show up at York. And a few could be 3 or it could be 6 or 7. We'll see. But again, let me pull up that dates one more time. So we leave York on Saturday, June 25th. And we're only in London for 1.5 days. We get back to London. We're staying in the same place in London.
My hairdresser suggested we see the Wallace Museum in London.
Oh, we're supposed to... The Wallace Museum in London?
She says there's a Wallace Museum and
in
she
London?
loves it.
It's in Edinburgh. Or Stirling, actually.
No, she said London.
She's probably on drugs.
Just Google it.
Yeah. Okay. But that's London. So again, let us just peel through the dates one more time. And again, if you're near one of these areas and just drop a date, you can email us. Our email address is on my channel here.
Or a Facebook message.
A Facebook message.
We'll get it when we have Wi-Fi.
Even in the next few days. So again, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, we're in London. So if anybody's in the London area, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and those are our plans. And again, people can watch this on replay. Cardiff, we're on the 5th, 6th, 7th, and this big whitewater rafting gorge walk is gone, so that's not happening. So we've got 2 days in Cardiff where, we can maybe go somewhere else. And then that's 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. June 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th, we're in Bangor. And hopefully we'll catch up with Alan. Again, we can change these days because Carnarvon does not require advance tickets. So, whatever fits with Alan, because we really want to meet Alan. And we have a chance to do so. But I do want to talk about him because the closest railway station to Alan, because I believe he lives, maybe I shouldn't say what town he lives in case he wanted that private, but I know what town he lives in. And the closest railway station is Buckley up there. And that's about 4 miles from the center of his town. Yeah, we're definitely going up to Gloucester. And if somebody is near Gloucester and says, hey, meet me here and I'll show you the town and the cathedral, we're in for it.
Right.
We're in for it. Anybody that wants to be a temporary tour guide for us, we're in for it. Heck, we'll even buy lunch as a thank you or dinner or whatever. Okay, so then Bangor is the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th. We arrive in Liverpool on the 13th, a little after 1 o'clock. So 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th is Liverpool. That's the hardest one because the dates are split. And then Edinburgh is the 17th, 18th, 19th, and 20th. And again, we do have 1 day free. And I will double check to make sure Stirling doesn't require pre-admission or reservations. And then York, and of course the meet and greet is already set up at York, so we're already scheduled. But yeah, Joyce and I will probably buy our tickets in advance anyhow because we know we're going to be there. You're going to meet us. Cardiff the 8th, you got it right. Now everybody says you should never put your vacation plans online. We've got people still in the house, so the house is safe. So there's York, and then the only date that is, there's 2 dates in York that are etched in stone, which is the 22nd is the meet and greet, and then Jorvik is the 24th in the morning. And then we're back in London on Saturday and Sunday, and we leave London early we have to get up and be out of our place early. We are open to suggestions, Tim. We usually prefer to do things in the morning. We like to get up and do the morning, and that leaves the afternoon free to add whatever we want to add. So usually we do morning. So we have not officially booked a train to Gloucester because we'll just get up and go over and buy a ticket. I know buy in advance, but we do like to, that's the one thing we're having a hard time adjusting with, is in Germany we buy a state pass. And we just can go anywhere. And obviously in the UK, rail travel is more expensive. It is more expensive. And it's not as easy to just get up in the morning and say, we're going here. But we're still going to try to do that. We're still going to try. We've bought our long trips. But the local trains, we have not booked. We might book them in a day in advance. But sometimes we like to watch the weather. So we would prefer going earlier in the day to Gloucester, Tim, if that means anything to you. If it's easier in the afternoon, we can go in the afternoon. I think it's 1 to 2 hours, I think, from Cardiff to Gloucester. I looked it up a while ago. Okay. Yeah, good. And that's what we saw too. Because we've looked up the price to tickets. We've looked up the price for some of these tickets ahead of time, and do we need to order ahead of time or not? There's a couple of them where if we definitely booked early and picked a day, it's cheaper. And those are the ones we bought. But that is our trip to the UK. That is our plans. And again, I'm not even worried about where we're staying because, again, we're having troubles paying Steven because he's not set up to take payment the way we planned on making payments. And he's been working long hours at a new job. He said he has a 15-hour workday today, but I have plans B and C if anything falls through. And but otherwise the biggest thing I think we're concerned about is the potential rail strike, because that's going to throw a real monkey wrench into a lot of things. And I know they do it kind of scattered, who's going out when, but maybe. But I'm sorry, I grew up watching the news in the 80s when England could get shut down with rail strikes, when there were just rampant rail strikes everywhere. Germany, the last time we were in Germany, had rail strikes that affected a couple of our trains. They had the trains running. They're like, the trains are running, but they had to change the trains. For example, the guys that drive the high-speed trains, they were on strike. So we were supposed to take an ICE4. I forget from where to where.
We were in München.
Yeah, we were supposed to take an ICE4, and we wound up taking an IC with a locomotive, but they didn't tell us. Right. A train pulled up, I was like, well, that's not our train. Yeah. And we finally asked somebody that says, oh, yeah, no, it's not an IC4. You got to get on this one. I said, but what about our seat reservations? They just said reservations are canceled. I said, we paid extra for seat reservations. He says, well, you'll get your money back, which we did. But we wound up sitting on the floor for a while.
Multiple hours, yeah.
Yeah, for a couple hours we sat on the floor of a car because it was overloaded.
Too comfortable?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, Artie. They're giving advance notice. It came out a couple of days ago. I didn't mention it. I don't remember if I even mentioned it to you that they were pretending.
You didn't.
No, this is her surprise today.
Yeah, yippee.
But again, it's going to be hit or miss. But 3 of our 4 trains are by companies that are definitely potentially going on strike.
Yeah.
In which case, somebody better give us our money back or guarantee the train will be running, and then we hire a car. Yeah. But so that's it. So again, if you're in any of those areas, let us know. Drop us an email. On my channel, if you go to the About Me part, my email is there. I don't necessarily want to put it on here where random strangers could get it, but random strangers could go to my channel and get it. You have to be subscribed to my channel to get it, but I think all of you are. But that's our trip, and we just wanted to do that again, just as a chance that people might be able to see us on one of those dates when we're near, or if you're looking at how our Cardiff schedule is, said, hey, come on over, because like now we could go over to Bristol. It's not that far. I think it's a fairly quick trip. There might even be a ferry to Bristol, because they're kind of like on opposites of that inlet. Yeah, we're a little. This is probably the most uptight we've been before traveling, just because.
Some open ends still.
There's some open ends, and even just getting to the airport is going to be more of an adventure than it usually is.
For sure.
But it is what it is, and we will get there somehow, and then deal with what we have to deal with. And just Joyce and I, usually, I'll have a day, if something goes wrong, I'll have a day where I cuss, and then we come up with a new plan, and then we enjoy ourselves after that. Mm-hmm. Was it 2017 or 2019 where I got bit by the spider?
It was the last one.
It was the last one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got. We had to cut part of our day at Füssen in Germany short because I had to go to a medical center because I got bitten by a spider and my leg went.
It infected.
It infected.
Never did get a bill.
Yeah, they were going to bill us and they didn't. The lady just did it as pro bono. Because we got kicked out of one part of the medical center because we didn't have
Euro card.
We didn't have the Euro insurance thing. I was like, yeah, but the people who told us come here because we didn't have the Euro card. Well, there's another clinic a building over, and they politely escorted us over. Then we sat there, and then they said, well, do you have this insurance? I said, well, we've got our own insurance. They said, no, you have to have this insurance. And one person wasn't going to treat us, and a doctor came in. She says, I'll take care of it. And her nurse was constantly going, how are we going to explain this? How are we going, because they don't have the insurance. She said, shut up. She just waved it off. She gave me bandages. She gave me medicine, a prescription. She gave me cream to put on it. And that was awesome. And that would not have happened in the United States. The United States would have let you bled to death out there, our healthcare system. Or they would have, if you were bleeding badly, they would have fixed you up and then given you a $20,000 bill. All right.
Getting political.
Oh, not really.
Yeah.
That's a truth. That doesn't have to be political. That's
right.
a truth.
Okay.
So anyhow, if anybody has any questions or wants anything repeated, let me go. Otherwise, I did want to end this. I did not want to step on Lee Anfield Road's. He goes live at noon, and plus we want to eat lunch. But this is our last, as far as I know, it's our last time live on air. Next time you see us on air, it'll probably be from the UK.
Right.
Yeah, and you never know what day. It just might be a surprise. Yeah, we're here. Does somebody in this town speak English? No. Anybody here speak American?
American English, yeah.
Because I'm already worried about Edinburgh broke. Yeah. And Glaswegian's even harder. Sorry, Andrew, but Glaswegian's even harder. Glaswegian English is even harder to pick up for me. And I can pick up German dialects easily, but American English dialects in the UK, yeah, I'm waiting for a couple of pranksters to hit me with rhyming slang and really hit me with some of the country terms. That Scottish Glaswegian brogue, as we call it. The Irish brogue. Because I only know from bad Monty Python impersonations. All right. All right, you can go, dear.
Okay.
You can say goodbye.
All right. Bye.
See y'all in England.
Yes.
See y'all in the UK.
In the UK or from the UK or something if we get there.
Edinburgh is full of Americans. Well, and this will be political. Joyce will run away. Oh, Joyce is the one who's worse about it than me. When we're in Germany, we rarely like the other Americans we run into. Every now and then we'll run into some cool Americans, but most of the time when we're in Germany, the Americans we run into, we're very happy to not hang out with them. We're very happy. A lot of the Americans we've run into in Germany are complete and utter assholes. Well, the problem is, you could say don't stress, and once we get there, we won't stress. But unfortunately, the last few days have thrown a lot of our plans, our basic plans, up in the air. We now don't have our official driver, although we have backups who said they would do it. There's still some hassles to do it. So we have getting to the airport. Once we're in the airport, we're still dealing with, we haven't paid for our accommodations, which means our reservations could be canceled. So that's an issue. We have not paid, and usually Joyce and I pay for everything in February. We just pay it all off, or down payments to make sure, and then pay the rest when we get there. But this is the first time we've used a travel agent, and we've had it wound up with a couple of hiccups. And I'm not going to complain or criticize. We're just all nervous. He sent me an email this morning, or a text this morning, saying he's really upset about this. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, technically we are too, but we either got to we got to figure out a plan B or a plan C. I just assume, here's my credit card number, and it's all done. Because that's how, when you do things, you do things. But his travel agency scaled way back and canceled a lot of their credit card things because their business was suffering with the showstopper. So I totally understand that. And he was assuming that I'd just be able to pay through PayPal, which I can pay through PayPal, but PayPal's going to charge a fee. And I will send him the money. And let PayPal pay the fee, and then I'll pay him back. I'll pay him for the fee, whatever PayPal charges. That way he's got the money and he can book it. I will just pay it. And no panic. Because PayPal, I think, charges a 3% fee. It charges a 3% fee plus 30 cents or 50 cents or whatever. So I can just send him the money and he can get it, and I will pay him an additional 4% so that when they take the 3% off of that, he still can cover the fee. And if I owe him a little more, I owe him a little more. Hey, Sparky, how are you? There is no being late, but yeah, I am getting ready to log off. Again, you can go back and play this video for those of you in the UK. This is really for our friends in the UK because we know there are so many of you and we want to see. I mean, one of the saddest things is Brian Finn from Finnerton Central has been one of the first guys I actually talked to outside of video, where we exchanged emails and text messaging off. He's one of the first people from YouTube that I got to know when I started doing model train videos. And he's one of the guys that, and I hope nobody would take it personally, but the top 5 guys I would want to meet in the UK, he's one of them, and I'm not going to meet him. Just because I've known him online for over 3 years, and we have talked offline as well, so that I consider him a real friend. Jim at Hover Motion is one we desperately want to get to. And then we've got a chance to go see Alan, and that's a friendship. I mean, Alan is the guy that took me from 950 to 1,050 in a weekend with his kind shout-outs that he's given me. So, again, just go back, look at the calendar, and if there's a day that you say, hey, I can be here at this time, even if you say, hey, it's about an hour ride from where you're at, let us know, and we will see if we can work something out. But again, we're not on a train adventure trip. This is not like a Strasbourg where it's train people getting together about trains. This is Joyce and I's vacation. It's just that all the people I know in UK are into trains, and we do have a couple of train events planned, but our goal is to see the United Kingdom, not just to see trains. What's that, Artie? Do you what favor? But so those are the dates, and the one date that I really wish everybody could do is the York NRM, because we are going to that, and it would be awesome to see as many people as we can. But if you can't come to York, there's other places like Lee. I know Lee can't go to York, but Lee's another guy I've known forever on YouTube, and I've watched his channel go through hell and rebound higher than it's ever been. He's got a new clique of people, but I've always been a supporter of Lee's channel. So while we're in Liverpool, it'd be nice to just, if nothing, go have a drink at a pub, or maybe he, Jackie, Joyce, and I can go into Anfield, because she's a huge Liverpool fan like I am. She's more of I don't know if he can be more of a fan than I am, but she's a tighter fan than I am. Lee's not a Liverpool fan, so we can take him in and make fun of Everton's failures. But be that as it may, that's sort of. But definitely getting down to hover motion. Jim is a very special person we definitely want to meet. And yes, to meet most of you here, people that I've just gotten to know in the last couple of years since I started my live streams, like Tim JD, gotta meet you. Leslie, gotta meet you. So I hope nobody takes offense if I name a couple of people like Jim at Hover Motion, who I have been talking to for 4 years, or Brian Finn that I've been talking to for over 3 years on the internet. Jim and I share a love of German trains. He does 2-rail, I do 3-rail, but he knows my company's tricks and Märklin and Fleischmann and Pico and Rocco. He's got a great setup. He's a great guy. So we are definitely going to break our backs. Joyce knew that was one of the things we were going to do. When we got to the UK, Jim was one of the people we were going to meet. Yeah, we will. We will definitely. We will let everybody know. We will post it on Facebook. We always do, because we send video messages to our family. So we drop pictures, and we drop, here we are sitting at Windsor Airport. Here we are at Toronto Airport. Here we are arrived at, So yes, Artie, you follow me on Facebook. So, you follow me, not just my train channel. You're friends with me on Facebook. So you will see the updates, because we post them there before we post them anywhere else. We're still one of those people on Facebook. That is our plan. So if we don't get to see you, I'm sorry, because really there's a lot of you we would love to see, and I know we can't. I would love to meet Andrew McDonald. I would love to meet Stuart at St. Mary's. I would love to meet Roger at St. Blazey's, but he's in bad health. But we've got a day in Cardiff. If he's a couple hours away from Cardiff, maybe we just go visit him and check out his layout. If he can't travel, maybe we can travel to him. All right. You'll wave on the 17th, and we'll meet on the 22nd. That's awesome, Leslie. Thank you. It will be an honor to meet you. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. I've babbled enough and repeated myself multiple times. But so I want to thank everybody. Thank you for supporting the channel. Joyce and I really appreciate it. And Joyce and I are looking forward to sharing our adventures over in the UK with you. We are very uptight right now because we have so many things that are in the way of us just getting on the plane and getting to the UK. We've got all our tickets. It's just a couple of things are coming up. Sparky, yeah, we are meeting at the York National Railway Museum on June 22nd. It's not a big meet and greet because A, I'm not a big channel. B, it's the middle of the week. So it's not like it's not like there's going to be 10,000 UK fans want to come and see me. I'm a small channel, but that was the one thing that was kind of center where we could maybe pull in a few people. It's going to be friends, and if a few of us get together, but it's not going to be some big YouTube model railway get together. Those are on weekends, and unfortunately the only place we could do that was York National Railway Museum, and that's on a Wednesday. If it were on a weekend, maybe we would have tried to do something bigger. But my membership, my very lack of ego says I wouldn't expect many to come. It'd be one thing if a group like the Model Rail Network that Richard Watson and David Jones, Cottesmore, used to run, when they were really active, if they had called, yes, you would get dozens of people there, and if we could have made it, we would be there. But this is just me in the UK and just trying to let people know where I will be. And yes, we're going to try to have a meet and greet at the York Railway Museum because that's the most central place comparatively, and it's not central, it's just the most central. Matt Slade is actually near where we'll be in Cardiff, Bristol area. I think Matt Slade is not far from Cardiff. If I knew Matt better, I would love to meet him. No, so Sparky, you remember you were in an event in Arizona last year. Let's say a similar event happened between me and certain members of the MRYCG. Okay? Let's just leave it at that. I am not friends with management at MRYCG. I've let it roll, but... All right, go to bed, Artie. It's late for you. I was a member of the group for a couple of years, but a couple of events happened, and I did not like how they were handled, and I expressed my opinions, which led to some very nasty words being said about me. And so I said, hey, I don't need you. I did not like how a couple of things were done towards certain YouTubers, and I tend to stick up for the little guy when I think they're being bullied. So that's it. So anyhow, Leah's coming on, so I better get off. So again, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Really, this is just throwing info out at the UK guys. And again, if you have suggestions, feel free to pop us emails or go on Facebook and say, hey, Anthony, just saw this in Cardiff. This might interest you. Because we do know up in Bangor, we want to do a zip lining thing. We still got to set that up in Bangor. Stefan, 2023 will be Germany, and then 2024 or 2025 will be Scandinavia. Joyce and I want to do a Scandinavia trip. Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and technically Finland's not part of Scandinavia, but we want to go over to Helsinki and see parts of Finland too, as long as the world hasn't been blown up by then. So anyhow, it is noon, and I keep saying I got to get off, so I'm going to say goodbye to everybody. Once again, everybody, Auf Wiedersehen, choose happy trains. Thanks for everything. And I will see some of you in the UK. And some of you will see me in the UK.